You ever see these incredibly complex, futuristic visions on screen and just wonder, how on earth do they even make that? Like, how do you build a world that literally doesn't exist? Well, today, we're going to break down exactly how it's done. Let's get into it.
Okay, it all starts with something like this. And look, this isn't just some vague idea. It is an incredibly detailed creative brief. We're talking glowing holographic dashboards pulling data from Hrefs and SEMrush, floating keyword charts, real-time traffic analytics, the whole shebang, all of it lit in this cool neon blue and purple vibe. So this is the world we're going to build. But how do you actually do it? Turns out there are two totally different ways to get there. And the first one, it starts with skills that are, well, timeless.
Right, so before we even think about touching any fancy modern software, I don't care if it's a 3D program or some crazy new AI, we have to start with the basics. We're talking about the foundational artistic principles that make any visual look good. Whether it's a painting from 500 years ago or a futuristic interface, these are the rules that just work.
And this is so important to get. The technology, it's just a tool. It's the artist's craft that's the real foundation here. You know, a computer can render an object, sure, but it takes an artist to make you feel something about it. And that's the power of understanding light and framing. It's what separates a basic, boring render from something that literally stops you mid-scroll.
So let's talk about light. What's so cool here is how you can use it to tell a story without saying a single word. Think back to our futuristic office vision. The prompt specifically asked for neon blue, purple, and orange lighting. That's not just to look cool, you know? Those blues and purples, they create that slick, high-tech, maybe even slightly mysterious mood. That is not an accident. That is cinematic lighting doing its job, shaping how we feel about the entire scene.
And okay, once you've got the mood set with light, you have to tell the viewer where to look. That's composition. Artists use these classic principles, like the rule of thirds, to arrange all those floating holographic dashboards and backlink maps in a way that just feels right. It feels balanced. It directs our focus exactly where they want it, making all that complex data suddenly feel super clear and even kind of elegant.
So, to actually pull this off, an artist has this whole digital toolkit of lights in software like Blender. To build our scene, they'd probably use a focus spotlight to get that dramatic, cinematic atmosphere we're after. And then they'd add a bunch of soft area lights to make those holographic UI elements really pop and glow, making them feel like they're actually in the room.
And hey, remember how our prompt specifically mentioned depth of field? This is a classic trick right out of the filmmaker's playbook that digital artists use all the time. By blurring out the background, we make that main holographic dashboard feel way more real, way more immersive. It pulls it forward and makes the whole scene feel like a shot from some big-budget movie.
So if you put it all together, the artist path is this really meticulous, detailed craft. First, they're in a program like Blender, building the scene, placing every little thing, setting up camera angles. Then they basically paint with light to create that whole vibe. And finally, they jump into a compositing tool like Nuke to polish every single pixel, tweak the colors, and add those final cinematic touches, like a little bit of film grain.
Okay, so that's path number one, the traditional, hands-on, artistic way. But let's switch gears and look at the modern digital toolbox. Because that meticulous approach, it's not the only game in town anymore. We now have a completely different path to bring our vision to life, and this one uses the absolutely incredible power of artificial intelligence.
And you can see the two paths right here, side by side. On one hand, you've got the artist with tools like Blender, giving them just absolute pixel-perfect control over every single detail. And on the other hand, you've got AI. You feed it a detailed text prompt, and it generates results at a mind-blowing speed. It's really the ultimate trade-off. Do you want painstaking, perfect control, or do you want to iterate and experiment at lightning speed?
And this is where things get really futuristic. We're moving way beyond just making silent videos from text. The next big thing, what they're calling text-to-sounding video generation, is all about creating a completely immersive scene. We're talking video and perfectly synchronized audio from nothing more than a written description. Wild, right?
And this example just illustrates it perfectly. Check this out. The AI was given two separate prompts, a visual one for a blacksmith hitting iron, and an audio one for the resounding clang of the hammer. Now, the AI didn't just make a video and slap on a stock sound effect. No way. It generated both at the same time, making sure that clang happens at the exact microsecond the hammer makes contact.
But, you know,
getting there was not easy. Researchers hit this wall called modal interference. So imagine you tell an AI to create a glowing dashboard that makes a whooshing data sound. The part of the AI that makes the video gets confused by the word whooshing, and the audio part gets thrown off by dashboard. They basically get in each other's way, and the result is just a garbled mess.
So the solution they came up with was actually pretty clever. They created what's called a dual tower architecture. What that really means is they give the video AI a clean visual-only prompt, and they give the audio AI a totally separate audio-only prompt. By keeping those instructions pure and separate, both parts can just focus on what they do best. The interference is gone, and you get a much, much higher quality, perfectly synchronized result.
So where does all this leave us? We've got the meticulous, deliberate path of the artist, and we've got the lightning-fast path of the algorithm. But you know what? This isn't a story of one versus the other. It's really about where these two worlds meet, and it's a pretty powerful convergence.
Yeah, the future of creation really isn't about choosing between the artist and the AI. It's about the artist using AI as this incredibly powerful co-pilot. Think about it. An artist who might have spent a whole week just getting the lighting right on one scene can now generate 10 totally different lighting options in an hour. Then they can use their expertise, their taste, to pick the best one and refine it. It's a total game changer for workflow.
So what's the big takeaway here? First, those timeless artistic principles, more important than ever, because that's how you guide and judge what the AI spits out. Second, the creator's toolbox is just getting bigger and more amazing. And this means AI is becoming that co-pilot, just accelerating that journey from a simple idea to a finished reality. And finally, the prompt itself is becoming a crucial new creative skill. It's not just typing words, it's a new form of art direction.
And all of this leaves us with a really fascinating question to think about. As these creative tools become almost infinitely powerful, what does that mean for the human artist? Their role starts to shift, right? It becomes less about the purely technical, manual skill, and more about the things that can't be automated. Vision, taste, direction, and that initial spark of a great idea. The most valuable skill is no longer just how to make the thing, but having that original vision in the first place.